All right, let's just jump right into it. Think about it. For years, you've been a student. You've been in thousands of hours of classes, you've taken tons of notes, and crammed for who knows how many exams. But here's the thing. After all that, have you ever really learned how to learn, efficiently? For most people, the answer is a big no.
So let me just ask you this, straight up. Think about all those long hours you put in, the stress, the effort. Are you really working smart, or are you just working hard? Because believe me, those are two totally different things.
The source material for this explainer doesn't really pull any punches. It says it right here. Most students just aren't efficient. And look, that can be a tough pill to swallow, but it's also the first step to having a huge breakthrough in how you get things done.
And this right here, this is the heart of the problem. It's not that you're not putting in the effort. Oh no, it's usually the exact opposite. Students are pushing themselves harder and harder, but they're stuck. They're spinning their wheels, because effort by itself isn't the answer. You need a better system.
So what does this working hard but not smart thing actually look like in the real world? Well, the source calls it amateur hour, this phase of just random, unstructured studying that pretty much every single one of us falls into at some point.
Does any of this ring a bell? Opening the book and just starting. Underlining stuff that just feels important with no real strategy. Mindlessly rewriting your notes, just hoping that somehow it'll stick. This is what's called the haphazard approach. It feels like you're working, for sure, but there's no real plan behind it.
Okay, so let's put a name to this. Activity without direction. What's so interesting here is how it defines the problem. It's not about being lazy. It's about doing all these study-related tasks without a system, without a real purpose. It's literally the definition of wasted energy.
So how do we break out of this trap? Well, it all starts by asking two really simple questions. Questions that amateurs almost never think to ask, but that professionals build their entire careers around.
And here they are. So simple, but so powerful. First, what exactly should I do? Not just I'm going to study, but what specific, concrete action is going to get me the best result? And just as important, maybe even more important, is number two, what should I not do? What are the things that are just wasting my time that I need to cut out like right now? Getting clear on both of these, that's the secret.
Just think about it. In any other field, right? A surgeon going into an operation has a very precise plan. Every single move they make is intentional. It's guided by knowledge and a clear strategy. They don't just walk in and start cutting whatever feels right.
It's the exact same thing with a professional chef. They understand how all the ingredients work together. There's a recipe, there's a technique, there's a process. You just start throwing things in a bowl randomly. Well, you get a mess, not a Michelin star meal.
And of course, think about a pro athlete. Their training is incredibly structured. They're focused on specific skills, specific drills, specific recovery methods. It's all about intentional practice, not just running around without a goal. So why on earth would we treat studying any differently?
This slide just lays it all out so clearly. You've got the amateur student mindset on one side, which is all about brute force. More time, more pressure, just pushing harder. But then you look at the professional mindset. It's about strategy, clarity, and process. They know that how you work is so much more important than how long you work.
And this is the trap that amateur mindset leads you right into. Without a good process, spending more time doesn't make things clearer. It just makes you more confused. Pushing harder just leads to burnout and frustration. And yeah, you can read that textbook 3 or 4 times, but if your method is broken, your results just aren't going to change.
Okay, so we spent a lot of time defining the problem. Now, what's the solution? How do we actually go from being an amateur to being a professional? Well, it's time to open up the Pro Playbook.
This is your blueprint, a 6-step process to completely transform your approach. And notice it starts with elimination, learning what to avoid. Then you get laser focused. You start using structured techniques. So instead of just rereading a chapter, you might use something like the Feynman technique, where you force yourself to explain the concept in your own simple words. That's the difference. You stop being random and you start being intentional. You build a fixed method that actually finally works.
When you get right down to it, this isn't just about picking up a few new tips or tricks. It's about adopting a completely new identity. It's a huge shift in how you see yourself and how you see your work. So are you an amateur or are you a professional?
And I really want you to let this sink in for a second. You have so much potential. But for as long as you're using amateur methods, your results are always going to have a ceiling. The only way to break through that ceiling and unlock what you're truly capable of is to upgrade your process. It's time to start working smart, not just hard.
And that brings us to the final core message from our source material today. It's a simple command, but it's a powerful one that can change absolutely everything. So the only question left is, which one are you going to be?